retro hangout. Carmen, thanks for joining us here. I'll pass the microphone over to you. In fact, you can take one of these here, and I'll let you introduce the panel members and lead the discussion.
Hi, everybody. Well, I'm very happy to be here today talking about NFT and art, one of my personal favorite topics as a passionate hobby artist myself. And I have a big pleasure to introduce you today to maybe one of the absolutely top leading curators in digital art, Mr. Georg Bach. Please come on stage. Applause. Thank you so much. And Nisa, would you mind coming on stage too? Nisa is a dear friend I met in Dubai doing all the expos we had on blockchain and metaverse. He is the collector of the biggest Bored Ape collection in the world, one of the very early collectors, so it will be very interesting to host this panel today. So first of all, I would like to ask a question to everybody here in the audience. Who actually ever bought a piece of art, like a traditional piece of art? Please raise the hand. Oh, quite a lot of people. Okay, great. And who actually bought an NFT? That's interesting. Well, I see why we're coming here together today. That's quite the same amount of people. Now, I'm curious to hear from Georg and from Nisa their feedback on what is art, what's the difference, what is an NFT, what's the difference to traditional art, and where are we heading? Why would somebody buy an NFT for 69 million on a Christie's auction that is actually just a JPEG? And why would you collect Bored Apes? And why are there worth so many millions right now? So to start with, I would like to just ask a very simple question. How would you translate the idea? So I buy a piece of art, I hang it on the wall. It's a painting, I like it, that's why I buy it. How would you translate this to, how would you translate this idea to the NFT world?
Well, I think there are very different NFTs. There are the art NFTs. There are historical NFTs. There are NFTs with utilities. There are NFTs that are fundraising NFTs. So I think NFT is a very big expression, you know, like there's a lot of things that it can be. What I find very fascinating is that with an NFT you kind of date an artwork. So even if the NFT is just like a surrogate of an artwork, because the artwork is a much better file that you can download somewhere, it's still, it kind of dates your artwork, and that is quite interesting as far as copyright is concerned.
So it would be related to, like a synonym to provenance in the traditional art world?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's NFT, non-fungible token, coded on the blockchain, so you can say it's a unique asset that you own, and it was in this certain kind of time that you actually had taken over the ownership, right? Now, what I find fascinating, Georg, you are, I think, not just the first, but also the only one who ever curated the CryptoPunk exhibition with Lava Lab, who produced them in Zurich, right? How did that happen? Why, and how was the feedback from the audience for CryptoPunks?
Yeah, that was in 2018. We actually met in London with John and Matt, and I was actually working on an art exhibition on blockchain art. We didn't speak about NFTs at that time. That was an expression that came later, I think. And yeah, I was inviting them to be part of the show. They were first a little bit surprised that I invite them into an art exhibition, into a gallery. But then we did this exhibition, Perfect and Priceless, in Zurich, and exhibited some of the early artists like Primavera, De Filippi, Sarah Friend, Harm van den Dorpel, and most of the artworks were actually physical. So even the CryptoPunks were like exhibited as physical prints. But at the same time, they transferred the equivalent digital NFT into a wallet, and they sealed the private key in an envelope. So you bought basically the first physical NFT because you could transfer the NFT physically.
That's interesting that they made it very approachable to the clients to say, this is a wallet, it's a real wallet. Was it successful? Did somebody buy it? And what was the high selling price?
Yeah, it was very expensive at that time. I mean, we were selling them for $5,000, and the digital ones were like around $20. And I remember there were quite a few crazy NFT collectors at the opening. They were showing me like they had like 100 CryptoPunks and I don't know how many rare Pepes and whatever, you know, these early NFTs.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was successful. We actually sold no, we sold all of them actually. We had 12 and then another 12. So in total, I believe there are only 25 such physical CryptoPunks, because they also produced another one for an auction somewhere in New York. And one of the interesting things that happened was that the Winklevoss twins bought one of these CryptoPunks. And I believe that really gave this project a boost.
The boost is the right word to say here, and many people would say, is it over, is the boost over? It's interesting, we have here one of the early collectors. We'll be here in a second. To CryptoPunks, the biggest record sales was now February, 23.6 million CryptoPunk aliens, so this was this year. To be clear, it's still there, the buzz is still there, and we have here Nizar, who is, well, one of the iconic collectors.
I didn't buy the $23 million one. It's not me, huh? The guy's called Deepak, and he's one of the big collectors that we've seen coming to the space. He came late, though. He didn't come as early as we're talking, like for $20, etc. If you allow me, I'd first start by saying thank you very much, all of you, to be here today and to witness this lovely discussion that we have with you.
Thank you, too.
Guys, and thank you so much. I would like to jump on the first question you asked. Yeah. You were asking about translation. Yeah. Why and how. And I think this is the biggest problem that we're facing today as human beings, is that we always want to translate things. We always want to understand things, when sometimes you just have to experience things. And I believe this technology allows you, and it gives you the right to experience differently. So why should we have to print it? Why should we have to touch it? I do not touch the love of my dear friend and partner Juliana that I share every day with, but it exists. So why should we print it? So people are just asking, I do not touch it, then I do not own it. But the most valuable things you have in life are things you do not touch.
That's a very true point and very deep. Thanks.
So, yeah, I do believe that we have to respect the technology. It is a technology. It is backed by the most important technology of the next century.
Of the next century, exactly. Nisa, and can you take our audience a moment back to the stage of where you said to yourself, I will just buy this Bored Apes. Why did you do it? What moved you?
Yeah, I do believe it started 30 years ago. Okay, I'm 37. And let me explain why I'm saying this. It's out of nostalgia that I bought a Bored Ape. It reminded me, art-wise, you may say it's not art, you may say I don't like it, but art is completely subjective. But art-wise, it reminded me of things that I liked when I was young. So my empathy and my souvenirs were boosted when I saw the Bored Ape. So basically, I bought the Bored Ape the 1st May 2021, which I do believe is what we call early in this space. A Bored Ape at that time was worth 0.17 ETH, which is around $400. And at the highest level, 3 weeks ago, it was worth $400,000. But that's just money. And once again, the problem that we're facing today is that we value things out of how much they cost, which means nothing. What's the value you get behind that? So when I understood that I was buying an early access to like-minded people by buying a Bored Ape, I wanted to buy more. I wanted to talk about it more, because that's what meant to me. Then, because I believed in it, well, it skyrocketed as, excuse my French, we made shitload of money out of it.
Well, that was really it was. Should I say luck, or was it planned? How would you define that?
I mean, once again, allow me to be a bit philosophical. I do not believe in luck. I believe in passion, hard work, vision. And when I mean hard work, it's just hard doing what you do, not hard working what you do. So I do believe, once again, it's the result of collecting many things for many years. As I told you 5 minutes ago, I have 150 gigabytes of picture.
Yeah.
I have stickers. As I told you, Juliana, and you say, are you crazy? And I said, I have hundreds of stickers that I buy. And she's like, why do you buy them? Do you use them? I'm like, no, I just collect them. So I collected that. It was logical.
How many Bored Apes do you own?
Yeah, I'd like to know that.
Why would you like to know that? That's the main question.
Trying to figure out if we're going to send you on a blind date.
Oh, well, but we can have a blind date without you having how much I'm worth. Am I not looking good enough?
I need to give you a kind of sense of Monaco.
Oh, okay.
The more ape you have, the more you're attractive.
Oh, come on. Monaco is way more better than what you say. I've seen so much love in Monaco for the past 2 days, which was not worth.
Yay!
What was linked about how many Bored Apes you have. We have, let's say, more than a dozen.
More than a dozen. Wow. And also CryptoPunks, I guess, and the entire.
Yeah, CryptoPunks is actually, that's really, really interesting, because when we started this venture, and when I say we, you say I, Nizar, but we have a family. Juliana is here, she's my partner. Aziz is not here, he's my partner as well. Omar and Charlene are not here, they're my partner as well. We decided to do this as a family. So when we started, CryptoPunks were gold standard. Like Bored Apes, they were looking up to be the CryptoPunks and the next CryptoPunks. The amazing story is that Bored Apes, which is a company called Yuga Labs, they ended up buying Larva Labs collection, which is CryptoPunks. So basically it's like if, I don't know, Wigan ended up buying Manchester United, just so you understand. And for us, having CryptoPunks were logical in a way of saying what we believe in as builders. And yeah, we own CryptoPunks as well, and I have one that pretty much looks like me, but it's not me. Yeah.
And if I can ask you, as you come from a traditional gallery, one of the most renowned, for many years been a senior partner there, then you decided to be one of the pioneers in the digital art and curating digital art. Now, I think it will be very hard to convince a lot of traditional art gallerists to actually say that this JPEG is suddenly worth the shift. How would you approach a gallerist who says, oh, no chance, this is just a buzz, why would I go and sell digital art?
Well, you know, I mean, if you buy a canvas, you're not buying the canvas because the material is so expensive, right? I mean, the material costs you maybe $50. And why are you buying art? Because it's a creation. And I think a creation is an idea, and an idea can be saved as a JPEG. So I think that's what counts. And I think we've been waiting for this moment. I mean, I've been really into digital art for quite a while. I was also interested in the net art movement in the 90s, and they had no market, you know. I mean, this simply, I mean, great artists. It was really our time, digital art, and nobody was buying it.
And can I also just, I think it's burning on so many people, the question. Last year in March, the art scene, like, there was a revolution happening with the first really not physical piece of art being sold over Christie's, an auction house, one of the most renowned auction houses, for $69 million. And it's a bunch of JPEGs called 5,000 Days by people. Now, can you explain this to somebody, why this happens and how did it happen?
Well, I was pretty certain it's going to happen.
Interesting.
I mean, I knew that it's a huge moment, and I was actually writing to Christie's to sell a CryptoPunk, and they were not interested, or they were lying to me, maybe, I don't know. So they chose a Beeple, but for me, I was certain. I even posted on Instagram that this is going to go for more than 50 million.
Before the sales happened.
Yes. And
Wow, that's interesting. What moved you to say that?
because it was a historical moment, and I think we've both been in the space for a while, and we saw what was happening. And I mean, I knew instantly when I heard about the ERC 721 token standard. It was the punks and the CryptoKitties first, and I knew this is one of the biggest moments in art history.
Yeah.
How would you
And
explain that, Nisa?
We as human beings like to collect moments, otherwise photography wouldn't exist. Otherwise painting wouldn't exist. We like to fix a moment in time. And that was at that moment Christie's witnessing the existence of digital art. We knew it was a crucial moment. But here's one thing, what this technology allows you to do. If you compare two Picasso from the blue era or the pink era, same size, same kind of moment, one might cost $10 million, whether the other one might cost a few $100,000s. Most people cannot explain why, but there is an explanation. It's because one of them had, as a collector, Margaret Thatcher, John Fitzgerald Kennedy, and Marilyn Monroe. So it has a blue line. So you're buying a legacy. And blockchain and NFTs allows you, when you talk about digital art, to have that print. So basically, if I create something today, and I don't know, you buy it from me, but you become tomorrow one of the most important artists in the art scene in 10 years, then what I sold you will worth much more because people will want to buy from you, but I'll keep the royalties. So this blue line allows you to keep also the royalties. And the smart contract, what people do not talk much about, allows you to kill the middleman. So it allows you to say, okay, when this is sold, Nizar is going to get 10%, the other buyer is going to get 2%, this foundation is going to get 3% out of it. So you can automate the love and the sharing. So you can create wealth over wealth.
Wonderful. And I'm having here a traditional piece of art next to me from a very famous Monaco artist, sculptor, Lawrence Janko. And it is interesting to see how in the digital art world there is the same kind of, ideas on why you buy it, you can transfer it to the digital one, it seems. But I guess there's something else to it. You can actually also use your art in the metaverse. So you can license it out, you can use it. Would you like to explain me a little bit about that, Lisa? Like collecting this as a collectible and...
I think there is a huge fantasy about the metaverse. I think the metaverse is not ready yet. I think it's on the build. And people, brands, and everyone is behaving like if it's already built. So there is a huge amount of money coming, but not for building, just out of fear of missing out. So brands are coming into sandbox, dropping thousands, hundred thousands of dollars, millions sometimes, but they don't know what they are going to build. That's what we call a bubble. So people are like, oh, NFTs, they're a bubble, they're gonna burst. NFTs, they burst every 3 months. We call that a bear market, but we build on top of that. So it bursts, and then we build, and we learn, and we burst, and we learn, because we do the work. But when brands put huge load of money into something they're not ready to build, what happens is that's the bubble, and it's gonna burst because they're not building. So what we do with our art in the metaverse is still a fantasy. We do not do anything. Like, if you tell me I have this apartment in the metaverse and I can have my screen with my ape, it doesn't make sense yet. So what we do with our art today is another type of thing. You have collectibles and you have art. Collectibles, you're part of something that is community-driven. You feel the sense of having a share in a company, a share in a promise. This is what we call, and then they give you utility. They'll tell you, when you have my NFT, you can have this, you can do this, you can do that. I will drop you this, I will drop you that. That's a collectible part. The artwork is subjective. I'm buying an artist that I like and I collect it. That's it.
It's very interesting what you say, and make a lot of sense. If you think about the NFTs, only 2% are maybe successful, like in the real artwork. So the CryptoPunk is like Andy Warhol. It is.
Yeah, but it's the same in real life.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to make a comparison, how many startups are dying every day in real life? How many people are opening their own barber shop or coffee shop, and it doesn't work? But you're not pointing like, we do not have to open barber shops anymore because someone in Tajikistan had his barber shop closed. So the comparison doesn't make sense. But if you want it to make sense, let's discuss about it.
His first NFT.
the leading art curator in the digital art world, you would bet on him as 95-year-old. You would open an exposition on him. Is that the way to go with your plans this year?
It's one of them, yeah. I mean, I also look at the very early NFTs. So I just recently bought an NFT from 2012, and that's
the iconic ones.
yeah.
So
And
which are
those
the iconic NFTs? What are you betting on this?
That's an investment. Buying OJ's NFTs. OJ, for those who don't know, means original gangster, which means like you buy things
Original
that started
gangster.
first, then you're part of the historical moment. So what do I look up to? And when I say I, once again, I talk about family. We, for collectibles, are investing and looking at what Yuga Labs is doing with Bored Apes, Mibits, Kennels, Lens with Ordered Side and Ordered Deeds, and V-Friends as well, from Gary V. These are for us the gold standard of the collectible game because they bring utility and the community is strong. So you're betting on a strong horse. When it comes to artwork, our favorite artist is called Charlie Palmer. He's an American artist, and his art is absolutely fantastic, and he has this say that I love. He says, when it comes to black history, I'm an extremist, and he has this power over his art. He's creating something absolutely fantastic, and the fact that as an artist, he's thinking, how do I bring utility to my collectors is game-changing. And I think with his drop called Dope Ass Friends that will come this year, you're gonna see a shift on how people are collecting art. We also love something that you have to take a look at. It's called Crypto Citizens. It's made by Bright Moments Gallery. They have 10,000 crypto citizens, and they do minting in real life, 1,000 in every city that is voted by people as a DAO. First city was Venice Beach, second New York City, the third one was Berlin, and the next one is London, and then we will vote for other cities. And when you have a crypto citizen, you're part of this family that is revolutioning the way we collect art.
Wonderful, Nisa. And we will continue this story in another panel today on community when we're talking about utility of NFTs. Nisa will be there as well. I want to say a big thank you for coming in all the way from Zurich. Georg Bach, please applause for Georg. And also a big thank you for Nissa. He actually came in from Gary V. Friend just to pop by
so
to
much.
speak on NFTs today. So thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you to Carmen as well. Thank you. It's always hard to interrupt such a flowing conversation, but it is just the beginning of the conversation, and I think you started the conversation for a lot of others who will carry it on either with you or amongst themselves later on. Jorg, I think you have a presentation for us now, yeah? You want to tell us a little bit more about your experience in art? Is that right? You look surprised when I ask you the question. I'm just following the running order, so you're looking at me as if you've got no idea what I'm talking about.